And we're going to have a look and see if we can predict the next person to get into that. It's all about Kendrick Davis.
Yeah, mate, it definitely is. And this is a move that I love from the start. And it's been a move I've spoken about a handful of times already. But for me, the Sydney Cun is heading over, and he's going to be another MVP candidate. He was runner-up last season, so obviously Bryce Cotton averaged just about 25 points per game and 8 assists, and is now teaming up with Matthew Dellavedova as well. So this combination now is going to be a potent offensive combination for the Sydney Kings. And what I like most about it is when you look back to the start of the offseason when this decision was announced, there were a couple of key things which I got quite excited about. The first one is that the Sydney Kings and Brian Gaudin sat down and showed Kendrick Davis film of when Matthew Dellavedova and Kyrie Irving played together. Now, what they're trying to do there is they're going to be trying to allow that combination to both flourish. And I think maybe this season we'll see Kendrick Davis turn into more of a scorer than a playmaker for the Sydney Kings. And I think Matthew Dellavedova will run the point for the Sydney Kings. But for me right now, the goal is simple yet really effective. It's to get him to the NBA. And there's a number of things he needs to work on. I think the most important thing, though, is his professionalism and how he leads a team as well. There was a couple of questions last year around his professionalism in the locker room. We know Adelaide's locker room was quite a potent one last season, and a couple of those questions and queries were around Kendrick Davis. But now he's hanging around with guys like Brian Gaudin, an all-time great coach for Australian basketball. Obviously, Andrew Bogut, a very big personality and a guy who's rubbed some shoulders with some of the best players in the NBA's history. And obviously Matthew Dellavedova as well, a guy who's been to the top of the hill, won an NBA championship, played with one of the greatest players of all time in LeBron James. So he's going to learn a lot under these three guys in particular. And if he can have some sort of a great season and maybe be a big reason as to why the Kings have a potential deep run into the playoffs, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, I think he's a guy who, is looking to catapult himself back into the NBA. So for me, that's the best off-season move from my perspective.
Coming to Sydney and the recruiting also Matthew Dellavedova, do you think it was a planned move to kind of shore up the defense around Davis or to help him develop that aspect of his game?
Yeah, 100%. I think Brian Gaudin is been known throughout his career to be a strong defensive-minded coach. So he's obviously had the chance this season to put the right pieces of the puzzle together, maybe a little bit more than what he had last year. But we'll sort of dive into the Sydney Kings a little bit more later on in the show. But I think definitely it was a smart move bringing Delhi. I think that combination is going to see the best of him. So yeah, 100%, definitely the right decision.